So inside this box is a handgun you've probably never heard of. And the reason I say that is because 3 weeks ago, I had never heard of this handgun. So with that, let's get this unboxing started. Bench, and as you can see, this comes in a black plastic hard case and it says AHSS on here, and we're going to talk about what this stands for in a minute. Now, this case does have two latches on it, and you do have two holes here if you want to put locks on this case, and these just slide over to the side just like that. Now, when you open up the box, this is what you are presented with. So it does come with a cleaning kit, it does come with an owner's manual, and it's pretty detailed. Kind of look through it here real quick, but it tells you about all the functions of the gun. It also tells you how to mount the optic, and we will dive into that here in a second. But pretty much everything you need to know is in this manual. Now up here we also have some extra parts for the optic mounting system, which is pretty interesting. And we're going to go over that in detail. It also comes with 2 extra back straps, so you have a total of 3 back straps. Now the next thing in the box, which is one of my favorite things about this so far, is the fact that it comes with 3 17-round mags. We have 2 here, and we have 1 in the gun. And the best part about these mags are they are all metal. They are made by Metgar. And these are CZ75 pattern magazines, which are very easy to get. And one other cool side note that I'll throw in here is I have the 2 disruptor pistols from EAA, and all my disruptor mags will work in this KOR pistol. It also comes with a mag loader. This also comes with a holster. Now, this holster is not going to do me any good because, well, I'm a lefty, but I think this is still pretty cool that it comes with a holster. And you've got quite a bit of adjustability here. You're going to remove this screw, put that on there just like that, and reinstall your screw. And last but not least, we have our KOR FX-9 RP. Alright, I'm going to show you that this gun is clear, no mag, nothing in the chamber. So the KOR FX-9 RP is a striker-fired handgun chambered in 9mm. Now this does come in 4 different colors. I have the black and OD green. They also have a black and gray, a black and FDE, and black on black. Alright, let's dive right into all the features of the KOR FX-9 RP, and we're going to start at the top and just work our way down. So let's talk about the sights first. You got a white dot in the front, and you've got this white U-notch sight in the back, and if these look familiar, that is because this uses Glock pattern sights. So if you decide you want to put an optic on this and you want to go with taller suppressor height sights, well, there are a ton of options out there. And if you do not like this rear sight, because honestly I don't like it, and you want to go with an all blacked out sight, well, Glock pattern sights. Plenty of options. Now the optic mounting system on this is pretty interesting. And if you look here, you have 2 screws that you can remove. And this slide does have the RMSC footprint. Now, a lot of people would rather see the RMR footprint, but let's face it, the RMSC footprint is getting just about as popular as the RMR footprint. There is a ton of RMSC options out there. Now, I'm going to go ahead and remove these 2 screws, and I'm going to show you how the optic mounting system works. All right, I got the cover plate off. And remember when I told you that this Optic mounting system is kind of unique? Well, if you look right here, you have a spring sticking up out of the top of the slide. And what that's there for is to kind of keep tension on the bottom of your Optic so your screws don't come loose. Now, I haven't ever seen anything quite like this, but definitely interesting. Now, one thing you're going to notice when you take things out of the box is this plate right here, and it is made out of plastic. Now, this is not an Optic mounting plate. Basically, this is just a barrier between your slide and your Optic. Kind of reminds you of things a few years ago when a lot of your Optics had a bottom load battery. It came with a plastic plate to kind of keep the water out of your battery compartment. So basically, you're going to take this plastic piece, set it like that, and mount your Optic right on top of it. All right, I went ahead and put the cover plate back on because, well, the Optic that's going on this is not here yet. And I know I always show you at the end of the unboxing videos what the Optic looks like on the gun, but it's not here, so we can't do that this time. But when we do the range review video, you will see it then. Now we're going to move out here to the back of the slide, and this does have a striker indicator, so I'm going to go ahead and rack the slide, and now you can see that that has turned red. Pull the trigger, and it goes back to black. Now here on the back of the slide, we do have some serrations. They're not cut in real deep. They are just a little bit slippery. It's not going to bother me much because I'm going to have an Optic on it, so I'm not going to be using these anyway. But I will be using the serrations up here in the front, and these seem to have a little bit of a grippier feel to them. And then you have your lightning cuts here on both sides of the slide and on the top. Now the slide on this is actually made out of 4340 steel, and it does have a nitride-treated finish, so this slide is going to be very durable. And I really like the design up here in the front of the slide. They've got this kind of notched back with the front of the barrel exposed. Just a really good look. I actually just like the way this pistol looks, period. Now we're going to move down to the frame, and this frame is actually built very durable. It is a polymer frame, but it is a fiberglass reinforced frame. Now you do have an accessory rail out here on the front. This is also where your serial number is at. So I had the Harbor Freight weapon light laying right beside me. I went ahead and put that on the rail, and it fits the gun great. And this means the Streamlight TLR1 HL is going to fit on here just fine because, well, this is an exact clone of that light. And I'm not going to go grab my TLR7 HLX because, well, if this fits on it, the TLR7 is going to fit on it just fine as well. Now the next thing we'll talk about here on the frame is this does have a manual safety. And I know a lot of people don't like to have a manual safety on their gun, but this is recessed in so well, it's not going to really bother you. And you do have the safety on both sides, which being a lefty, I like that. And while we're speaking about things that I like, being a left-handed shooter, the mag release on this is ambi, and it is reversible. And as you can see, I've already switched mine around, and it's also one of the easiest mag releases I've ever reversed on a gun. Now the downside to this gun, if you're a left-handed shooter, is the slide stop is not ambi. You've only got that on this side, so if you're a lefty like me, that might be something you want to take into consideration. Now this does have a takedown lever. You're going to flip that down, drop your slide, pull the trigger, and the slide comes right off. And if somebody from YouTube is watching this, I am just showing people how to field strip this gun and how to clean it. So there's the inside of your slide. It's got a very unique guide rod and spring. You've got a spring here and another spring here. This should really help cut down on the recoil and the muzzle rise. Now here is your barrel, and this is a 4.08 inch barrel. And one thing that KOR states on their website, which is kind of different from most other companies, is that they say that it is just fine to run all the steel cased ammo you want. Now I haven't had any steel case ammo for years, but if you've got a bunch of it, well, KOR is saying go ahead and use it. All right, we'll take a quick break before we dive back into the frame, and let's go over some dimensions on this. So this thing weighs in at 29.45 ounces. The height on this is 5.59 inches. The width on this is 1.38 inches. And the overall length of the FX-9 RP is 7.52 inches. All right, now we already talked about the back straps. Now this comes with the medium back strap installed, and I actually really like how this feels in my hand. I tried all three, and I went ahead and went back to the medium back strap. And they are super easy to change. You just knock the pin out right here, pull down on your back strap, and swap them out, and put your pin back in. Now you've got some really nice serrations here on the back strap. We've got some really nice stippling here on the side, and you've got that same texture on the back strap here on the front. And you also have some serrations here on the front of the trigger guard. Now this is pretty much considered a full-size gun, and I have extra large hands, and this gun fits my hand perfect. My pinky sits perfect right here where this flares out. So if you have bigger hands, I think you're gonna like how this feels. They also put a pretty nice undercut here, which really helps with the comfort when you're holding the gun. And as far as the trigger guard goes, it starts to open up here towards the front of the trigger guard. So you should have no issues shooting this gun with gloves on. So who knows, by the time we get this out to the range for a review, I might be wearing gloves. Now, even though I really like how this gun feels in my hand, I love the stippling here, the checkering on the front and the back of the grip, I would like to see some more texture up in here. And being the style of pistol that it is, with the takedown lever, if you're a lefty like me, you do not have any type of thumb ledge over here to rest your thumb. But all in all, very comfortable pistol for people with larger hands like myself. All right, we can't get out of here without talking about the trigger. And I've dry fired this quite a bit, and the trigger is not great, but it's not that bad. So the take up on the trigger is very smooth. It's not gritty. I don't feel any kind of resistance there. You do have the trigger safety or dingus, whatever you want to call it. So right there's the wall. And it actually has a pretty nice clean break. Just a little bit of creep, not much. Now the reset, little long. It is tactile, it is audible. Doesn't really push your finger forward like some striker fired guns, but not a bad trigger. Now I went and got the Wheeler trigger pull scale, so let's get a trigger pull on this and just see what we're looking at. Not bad at all. Broke right at 4 3/4 pounds. So definitely not a heavy trigger, just something that I got to get used to. Just feels a little different than a lot of the other striker fired guns that I have, but I think it's going to be all right. So what are my first impressions of this gun? Well, they're pretty good. And honestly, this gun feels like it's built like a tank. And one thing that I haven't brought up yet is this gun has actually kind of been around for a while. This is basically an upgraded version of the original FX-9, which was imported in from American Tactical. Now that gun did not have an optics ready slide or anything like that, so basically what they've done is just improved on that gun. And although there weren't that many people that had the FX-9, everyone that did have it seemed to really like it. And one other super cool thing about this gun is the price, which I think is a pretty awesome deal for a gun this well built. Optics ready, comes with 3 mags. If you want to get extra mags, well, they're CZ75 mags. They're not that expensive and they're very plentiful. Oh, and we can't forget the fact that it uses Glock pattern sights. So if you don't like the sights that come on it, well, you have endless options for sights. So all in all, I am super excited to get this out to the range for the first shots video. We will have an optic mounted on it. We'll get a light on it. I'm not going to tell you what the optic is because, well, I don't have it yet, but I'm super excited to get it, and I think it's going to look really good on here. They said it's on the way, but I don't have it yet. So you're just going to have to wait till the next video to see it with the Optic. Well, I hope you enjoyed the video. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.